stop people from wanting to scale the wall to get in his house, because on the other side of that wall is Beyonce, Jay-Z, and every big star you want to know. TD there too, but I don't know if he was busting open. I'm just saying.
Hey.
Because they said that too about the good Bishop.
Epstein is Pizzagate. Let that sink in for a minute. Jeffrey Epstein is Pizzagate. 10 years ago, Pizzagate was by far the #1 trending topic on Twitter. But the claim of elites who preyed on was so insane that Pizzagate was shrugged off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. I was the first mainstream reporter to dare give the facts surrounding Pizzagate. My corporate career was destroyed over it, so what? My professional reputation was obliterated, that wasn't fun. And I wasn't the only one. Anyone who dared to suggest that this might be true was blacklisted, shadow banned, or thrown off of social media. But then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us have been telling you for a decade, that Pizzagate is real.
How they eat, that is not bull. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires, and everybody still thinks I'm crazy.
For years, there has been a long-standing conspiracy theory that Hollywood and the elites harvest the blood of young people and transfuse it in order to reverse age. And now the Epstein files might have revealed that that is in fact true.
You believe that children are being abused by pedophiles in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So why are you sitting down talking to me? Why aren't you sitting down with the police right now?
I've told the police. In fact, if anybody wants to go back to 1993 when I was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Police Department, I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information, but they were scanning Michael Jackson. All they cared about was trying to find something on Michael Jackson.
Jason Lee just set the internet on fire again, and this time it's not because of a petty celebrity argument or a messy headline, it's because he's implying the Epstein files are missing names, and now people believe he's a target for even hinting at it. And what makes this story hit harder is that Jason isn't some anonymous conspiracy account with a faceless profile picture. He's a real media figure with real access, real connections, and a history of being around the same circles he's talking about. So when he starts sounding nervous, when he starts talking like someone is pressuring him behind the scenes, people don't just scroll past, they stop, because it feels like the kind of warning you hear right before something happens. Now before we get into it, do me a quick favor if you like deep dives that break down what's being claimed, what's confirmed, and what people are connecting online, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because stories like this change fast, and the internet always finds new receipts overnight.
Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching, because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me. Call me yourself, because this right here is going to go viral. The way my job works on the internet, everybody's going to be clipping, sharing on TikTok. Watch this. Do your thing, TikTok. Jay-Z and Beyonce is going to see this. I am exhausted with people calling me about Jay-Z and Beyonce. You've never called for anything else, and I haven't even said anything about you yet. And yet I'm getting all these calls.
Okay, so here's the setup. Every time Epstein trends, the public reaction is the same. People rush to find names, screenshots, flight logs, and documents, and then they ask the question nobody can stop asking. Is this really everything? Because for years, the Epstein case has been treated like a single monster story when the public believes it was a network. And once you believe it was a network, you automatically believe there are people being protected. That's why these file drops don't calm people down. They actually make people angrier, because if the public thinks the release is incomplete, then the release doesn't feel like transparency. It feels like controlled damage. And that's where Jason Lee comes in, because he's been one of the loudest media personalities willing to speak on powerful names, powerful circles, and what allegedly goes on behind closed doors. Jason has spent years building Hollywood Unlocked into a platform that lives right in the middle of celebrity culture.
For years, there has been a long-standing conspiracy theory that Hollywood and the elites harvest the blood of young people and transfuse it in order to reverse age. And now the Epstein files might have revealed that that is in fact true. In this email to Jeffrey Epstein, it says all you need is a blood transfusion from the pack, and you reverse aging. This is where adrenochrome comes into play. It is a real chemical compound found in the when the body is in a fight or flight situation. And we know that the kids that were involved in Jeffrey Epstein's network were definitely put into fight or flight. And of course, we've seen Hollywood elites like Chrissy Teigen tweet about how they're going to a party where they're serving up 4-year-old cheese pizza with adrenochrome and, of course, the eye emoji. And according to the FBI code words, cheese stands for little girl and pizza stands for girl. Now back to the email. The subject is Dr. Agus, a professor of medicine and biomedical engineering at USC, pretty local to Hollywood. He is also the founding director and CEO of the Ellison Medical Institute. You know, the medical institute funded by Larry Ellison, the new owner of TikTok. And he's also hosted a Paramount show with big celebs like Ashton Kutcher and Oprah Winfrey. If you know, you...
He's been around the stars, around the parties, around the PR teams, and around the whispers people don't say out loud. So when he starts implying the DOJ didn't show everything, people take it differently. It feels less like gossip and more like an insider blinking twice. Now, to be clear, Jason has not publicly dropped some official secret list. He hasn't released a verified document showing extra names. But what he has done is hint, repeatedly, that the public is not seeing the full picture. And online, that was enough, because the internet doesn't wait for proof, it reacts to the implication. And the implication is scary. That there are celebrities connected to Epstein who were not included in what people are calling the files. And once that idea spreads, it becomes a pressure cooker. People start demanding answers. People start demanding names. People start looking at anyone who speaks on it like they're holding the keys to a locked room. And the moment Jason even touched the topic, people noticed something else too. He started talking like he was getting calls, like he was being contacted, like he was being warned. That's what really fueled the target narrative. Because according to Jason, he can talk about almost anybody, but the moment he mentions certain names, suddenly the phone starts ringing.
The person okayed it. I would eat a human. If you were at a very fancy restaurant and they were like a tiny piece of meat.
No. I think the only way
you wouldn't try a tiny bite?
No.
Really?
Absolutely.
Suddenly, people are reaching out. Suddenly, it feels like there's an invisible line you're not supposed to cross. And whether that's true or not, that's the part that makes the public suspicious. Because it suggests there are certain people in Hollywood who still have the power to apply pressure quietly. Not publicly, not with a statement, but with a call. Now, another reason this is blowing up is because Jason's past connections make the story feel even messier. People online keep bringing up the fact that Jason once had a business relationship with Diddy through Revolt TV, and that matters because Diddy's parties, Diddy's guest lists, and Diddy's alleged behind-the-scenes culture are constantly being tied into the same elite network conversation. And this is where the internet starts connecting everything to everything. Epstein, Diddy, Hollywood parties, political figures, billionaires. And whether those connections are real, exaggerated, or completely unfair, the point is, the public believes it's all one big circle. So Jason becomes the perfect person for this story because he's been close enough to the culture that people believe he might actually know things.
Oprah is a slave trader. Oprah is a slave trader. Let that sink in. It's 100% true. Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader. Why do you think she has that school in South Africa? Why does she hang out with who she hangs out with? Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader.
And I've done a lot, and I'm not even gonna say it here because if I did, this internet, Beyonce's good internet, would go crazy. I'm gonna tell them while Johnny puts a beep over this part of the show, so you'll never know what it is, but I want you to see their reactions, and I'm going to do it right now.
And when Jason talks like he's stressed, when he talks like he's tired of being contacted over certain names, it adds fuel to the idea that he has more information than he's saying. That's the internet's favorite kind of storyline, the I know something but I can't say it yet storyline, because it turns the whole situation into a thriller. And the public doesn't consume it like a news story, they consume it like a documentary, like a countdown, like a ticking clock. Now here's where things get dangerous, and this is the part people need to understand. Even if there are missing names, even if the release is incomplete, that doesn't automatically mean every celebrity the internet drags is guilty of crimes. It doesn't. The Epstein case has always been complicated because association doesn't equal guilt, and a name appearing in a document doesn't prove what someone did or didn't do. But the internet doesn't operate like a courtroom. It operates like a mob, and once the public believes there's a cover-up, they start treating every rumor like a clue. They start pulling old photos, old interviews, old party clips, old tweets, and they start saying, "This proves it," when it might prove absolutely nothing. That's why the pressure on Jason is so intense.
Almost the military to stop people from wanting to scale the wall to get in his house, because on the other side of that wall is Beyonce, Jay-Z, and every big star you want to know. Was there too, but I don't know if he was busting open. I'm just saying. Because they said that too about the good bishop. This is what I hate about the internet. If you say it is true, if you think it is true.
Because if he names someone without proof, it becomes legal chaos. And if he doesn't name anyone, people accuse him of clout chasing. It's a trap either way. And that's why the target label sticks so easily, because the moment Jason frames it like he's being pressured, people assume he's being threatened. And once the internet believes someone is being threatened, it turns into this whole protection narrative. If something happens to him, we'll know why. That's the energy this story has right now. Jason isn't just reporting, he's almost documenting. And that's what scares people. Now, the biggest reason this story has legs is because the public does not trust the system. They don't trust the DOJ, they don't trust media, they don't trust celebrity PR. They believe powerful people get protected, investigations get stalled, and information gets controlled. And the Epstein case is the perfect storm for that distrust, because it has so many unanswered questions, so many sealed documents, and so many high-profile connections. So when Jason hints that names were left out, it doesn't feel crazy to the public. It feels expected. And that's why this isn't dying down. Because the story isn't just Jason Lee said something, the story is what his words represent. The fear that the public is only seeing the safe version of the truth. And now, the internet is watching him closely. If he keeps talking, the pressure grows. If he goes quiet, the internet will say he got silenced. If he drops more hints, people will demand he goes all the way. And if he ever does go all the way, this becomes a completely different level of scandal. Because then, it's not speculation, it's direct accusation. And that's where danger becomes real. So the question isn't just whether the Epstein files are missing names. The question is, what happens to someone who keeps implying that they are? And is Jason Lee really in danger? Or is the internet turning a complicated story into a suspense movie because it wants a villain, a whistleblower, and a dramatic ending? Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you believe the files are incomplete? And do you think Jason is genuinely a target right now? Because one thing is clear, this conversation isn't going away, and the more people try to shut it down, the louder it gets.